He has nothing to say. His ass gonna say the same shit he been saying. You don't have to say anything. Find another way to talk. Y'all making a point with him in his office. He don't got nothing to say. What you gonna say? Right. That shit.
We sat there, we watched that video.
We want convictions for killing cops.
We watched that video.
That's it.
Of PaulONeal being shot down by a Chicago police officer, and then we have a superintendent who believes don't justify. Public safety will look different. What if that was your son? They got shot in the back and was running from a Jaguar convertible. Public safety, accountability, transparency will look different. We are tired, we are dissatisfied with the ungracious leadership in Chicago Police Department. We are dissatisfied. Bridging that gap between African Americans and Chicago police, impossible. It is impossible. The police out here acting reckless. They're reckless.
There's no
when you see that video,
correct response.
when you see that video of the officer getting out the passenger seat, withdrawing his service weapon, he instantly got out and started shooting. He instantly got out that car and started shooting PaulONeal. Remember his name and say his name. His life matters. His life matters. Killing that young man is not justified in the situation. Whether he was stealing, whether he was killing, it is not justified. That does not justify.
Obviously, activists, protesters taking advantage of the cameras, and right in front of the Chicago Police Department headquarters, Eddie Johnson standing there patiently, awaiting his turn to address the media at the podium. Obviously, no one is attempting to push these folks out of the way to make way for what Superintendent Johnson has to say. It's sort of an awkward situation here. This young man saying, and his friends saying, they're dissatisfied with Chicago police.
And they've been out there since this morning. They didn't just show up in response to this 1 o'clock press conference. They had been there this morning. Some of them were allowed to watch the video this morning. And I guess this is democracy in action and a little bit of transparency to Superintendent Johnson, knowing they were out there. I mean, he didn't have to show up. He was going to talk to us at 1 o'clock. He saw the group out there, but he came out anyway, and he's standing before the microphones waiting for his moment to speak.
Right, and we'll see how this plays out. We can't tell exactly how many activists, protesters, whatever you might want to call them, these folks who are obviously distressed and upset by what they've seen. And whether or not we're going to get to the superintendent ultimately or not.
I don't know if William Calloway is there, but William Calloway has been one of the regular protesters, but also an advocate for transparency. And Calloway, we spoke with him earlier, and he spoke outside police headquarters earlier. And to summarize what he said he has pushed and pushed and pushed for the release of more of these police videos. He's getting tired of pushing for the release of these videos, and then when he sees what's on them, being so disturbed. And I think it indicates there are two separate issues at play here. Number one, the transparency is a good thing, and the police are releasing the videos. But secondly, Calloway is just as disturbed by what's on the videos, much more disturbed. And I think they want not only the videos to be released, but they want the misconduct to stop.
They want the behavior to change.
Right.
Yeah, I understand that.
And one thing these body cams is going to do, Corey, is we've heard some throwaway remarks at the scene this morning from these police officers on the scene. And I would imagine that even though they're in the heat of the moment and the adrenaline is running and they might be high-fiving because they've had a successful operation, we're going to hear less and less remarks from police officers who know that every word that they say on the scene of an incident is likely to be broadcast later on.
That's right. That's right. So we're monitoring the situation here, and again, no one seems to be trying to push these activists away. I'm sure the last thing they want is some sort of an altercation here right in front of the police headquarters. That's not what you want in light of what's just happened, and they're trying to be patient and listen and sort of wait them out. So we'll see where this goes and how it plays out. We got a little bit of a look at the scene there. There doesn't appear to be more than, what do you think, Larry, 6 or 8 of these activists / protesters that we can see. And the superintendent has just walked away, giving up, and you can determine on your own whether that was the right decision or not. But certainly the last thing he wants is some sort of an altercation, and now he's talking, appears to be, to some of the reporters right near the entrance to the building. I see some print reporters. I see a few TV cameras there, and obviously our camera is a little distance away. But we'll see if we can't come up with what the superintendent had to say.
It's interesting because some of these activists have, in fact, expressed some optimism based on what Superintendent Johnson has done so far.
Right. As we look at the video one more time. Yeah, you're right. I mean, on one hand, the police department and IPRA is being commended for being transparent. But then, as you mentioned, on the other hand, you still have to look at what's there, and nobody's pleased with that. So it's you show the video and you're going to get a reaction, that's for sure.
And one more time, this is video that we put together, taking several body cams, merging them together, so it's not one long stream, although it appears like that. It was stretched out over much more time than as we played out right here. There wasn't a short chase and an immediate takedown. There was more time that elapsed. We edited the video here to display for our viewers just what happened in less time.
Exactly right. And again, the actual clip of what happened in that backyard, the actual shooting of O'Neal, is missing and likely never to be seen. But this is what we've seen so far. And there are other clips that we have not shown you yet that may or may not provide. And again, at 9, we'll show even more of the video to get a little better sense of exactly what transpired. But again, Superintendent Johnson was about to make a statement just after 1 o'clock from in front of the Chicago Police Headquarters about what had taken place. Now, he wasn't expected to take any questions. In fact, my sense is he might have just read the statement that was released. And right now, he's back inside the building. Apparently will not be following through on this presser, or at least this opportunity to make some remarks anyway. And the protesters / activists took that opportunity away and had to. They made their voices known, certainly, and their sentiments known about what they saw and how they feel the Chicago Police Department is doing in regards to situations like this.
Right. We still expect to hear from the family this afternoon, from PaulONeal's family members.
Right.
And I expect at some point we will hear from Superintendent Johnson. Maybe it will be indoors at the press conference room where the protesters aren't allowed in.
All right. Well, let's wrap up our coverage then. Thank you very much for joining us this extended noon broadcast. Much more again. Don't forget the 5 o'clock newscast coming up in a few hours, and 9 o'clock as well. Full wrap up on all that's gone on today and the rest of the day in news. Right now, we'll join Dr. Oz in progress. Have a good day.
He'll shut off a little bit. He could be